All right, let's talk about one of the biggest glow-ups in the corporate world. We're going to unpack the story of how managing people went from being a quiet back office job to a crucial part of a company's core strategy. So you got to wonder, right? How did this happen? How did the HR department go from handling paperwork and payroll to getting a seat, a real seat at the boardroom table? Well, it wasn't an overnight thing, that's for sure. It was a long journey. And the best way to think about this whole evolution is like a story about a massive promotion. Seriously, imagine HR starting out in the corporate mailroom, just sorting the mail and handling administrative tasks. And now they're in the corner office, helping steer the entire company. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the big picture journey. Then we'll rewind to the early days. After that, we'll get into the big strategic leap, check out the different playbooks companies use to make it all work. And finally, we'll talk about why this whole evolution really matters. Okay, let's kick things off with HR's journey to the boardroom. What was happening in the world to make this change not just possible, but absolutely necessary? Well, look, in today's business world, things are complicated. I mean, really complicated. And companies have finally woken up to a fundamental truth. Their biggest weapon, their ultimate competitive advantage, it isn't their tech or the money in the bank. It's their people. All right, from administrator to manager. To really appreciate how big this promotion was, we have to go back to the very beginning. Let's see where this all started. This timeline is pretty wild when you think about it. I mean, we start way back in the Industrial Revolution, where workers were basically seen as cogs in a giant machine. But then you see this slow shift in thinking, especially with the human relations movement. It was this huge aha moment where businesses realized, wait a minute, if our people are actually motivated and feel valued, they work better? I know, shocking, right? But that simple idea changed everything. And that's where personnel management comes in. This was the first formal version. Its whole job was tactical and transactional. We're talking wages, vacation days, discipline, all the administrative stuff. Super important for sure, but it was all about reacting to things that happened, not planning for the future. And here is that first big step up the corporate ladder. We move from that reactive world of personnel management to the much more proactive world of human resource management, or HRM. The game completely changed. It wasn't just about administration anymore. It was about managing the entire employee life cycle, finding the best people, helping them grow, and keeping them. People were finally being seen as an asset, not just an expense. But that was just the beginning. Now we get to the main event, the biggest promotion of all, the strategic leap. This is where we get to SHARM, or Strategic Human Resource Management. And the core idea here, while it sounds a little academic, is actually pretty simple. It's all about making sure that everything you do related to your people, who you hire, how you pay them, how you train them, is perfectly in sync with the company's long-term goals. I love this road trip metaphor because it makes it so clear. Think of SHRM as the one who plans the entire journey. They're looking at the big map and saying, okay, our destination is to be the market leader in 5 years. What's the absolute best route to get there? They plan the trip. So if SHRM is planning the trip, then regular old HRM is the one actually driving the car. They're making sure you've got gas, the tires are inflated, and the driver is skilled. But here's the key part. You can be the best driver in the world, but if SHRM puts you on the wrong highway to begin with, you're never going to reach your destination. That's the difference. This chart really lays it all out. You can see the difference in focus and control. But for me, the most important line here is that last one, accountability. Traditional HRM was often seen as a cost center, a department that just cost the company money. But SHRM, that's an investment center. It's a part of the business that's expected to generate a return, to create real, measurable value. Okay, let's make this real. Take UPS. What's their whole deal? Efficiency, getting things from point A to point B as fast and as cheaply as possible. Well, their strategic HR is built entirely around that one goal. Every single job is designed for maximum efficiency. How they train the truck loaders, the exact routes the drivers take, it's all perfectly aligned. Their people strategy doesn't just support the business strategy, it is the business strategy. So the UPS example is perfect. It shows what happens when you get this strategic alignment right. But how do companies actually do it? What are the different playbooks they can use for this kind of strategic integration? Well, it really starts with two main schools of thought. First, there's the hard model. This is all about the numbers. It views people as human capital, an asset, just like a factory. The goal is simple: maximize the return on that investment. Then you have the soft model. This one focuses way more on the Well, the human side of things. It's all about communication, motivation, and trust, with the belief that developing and empowering people is the true path to performance. And honestly, most companies today use a blend of both. And these philosophies lead to some actual frameworks that companies use. For instance, the Harvard model leans more towards that soft side. It says, hey, employees aren't just resources, they're stakeholders. We need to care about their well-being. The idea is that this balance ultimately creates more value. On the other hand, something like the New York model is much more hard-nosed. It frames every HR decision, hiring, pay, training, as a tight strategic choice that must directly help the company win against its competitors. So let's bring this all home. After this whole journey from administrator to strategic partner, why does this evolution actually matter? What's the big takeaway? It matters because that big promotion we've been talking about is now complete. The head of HR, the Chief Human Resources Officer, isn't just a department head anymore. They are a trusted advisor to the CEO. They often sit on the board of directors. The function that started in the back office is now helping to steer the entire ship. And this quote from Taylor really sums it all up perfectly. At the end of the day, in our economy, a company's only real, sustainable source of competitive advantage is its people. And if that's true, then the part of the business that understands and develops those people becomes pretty darn indispensable. Which leaves us with one final, huge question. The business world never stops changing. We've got AI, globalization, constant disruption. HR's evolution is far from over. So, the question is, what's the next promotion? What will the people leaders of tomorrow need to become? That's a question that's going to define the future of work. Thanks for watching.